welcome to the Album Man, and today I'm going to be doing a review of Temper Temper by Bullet for My Valentine. And this is their fourth album, and I was thinking of reviewing this album anyway, even though I'm not a big fan of the band. I mean, I like aspects of the album. Their first one, the Poison, especially the song Tears Don't Fall. I mean, that is a really catchy sort of song, but I decided to fast track this review after I was on YouTube yesterday, and in my sub feed or whatever, I got about 5 videos from the YouTube album reviewing community of reviews of this album, and they absolutely tore it to shreds, from Cover Killer giving it a 2 out of 10 to Count Blaguer giving it a 3, and various things between. I mean, that's pretty bad as a score out of 10, so I thought I just have to hear this album. And as part of this sort of, I consider myself part of the, target demographic they go for of teens, I thought I'd give my 2 cents on this album and go track by track. So, let's start off with Breaking Point, and this actually starts with a decent intro. But when the vocals come in, the song takes a turn for the worse. I mean, the intro isn't exactly that good. I mean, it's like a cold and then it turns to pneumonia. I'm not a massive fan of the singer's vocal style, but it's especially bad here. The chorus is really nothing at all special, though there's worse on the album. God, there is worse. However, on a positive note, I mean, solo is decent. The solos are decent on the album, to be honest. And, I mean, this song, it certainly, I wouldn't classify it quite as metal. It sounds more just like sort of trashy, gain, hard rock, I mean. But this song, it's a pretty bad way to start the album. Musically, it's just quite lackluster, and the rest of it, vocals and everything, not very good. And then we get to Truth Hurts. And this song starts out sounding pretty generic, to be honest, and it just gets worse and worse as it goes on. The chorus is extremely uninspired, and lyrical content of the song is garbage. I mean, it's Nicki Minaj, stupid hoe, bad garbage. And that takes some skill to achieve lyrics quite that meaningless. And then the single, or the title track certainly, is Temper Temper, of course. And when I watched this video on Vivo, yes, I watched it, listened to this album on YouTube, there was a Sainsbury's advert for some, how to make Yorkshire puddings. And no joke, that advert genuinely had better music than this song. That was the highlight of this for me, it was the Sainsbury's advert. Now that means something must be severely wrong. The riff at the start sounds like something I've heard on Kerrang! A million or more times before, and I also find the vocals particularly repugnant on this song. And then when you get to the chorus, there's just a burst of mediocrity that makes it feels so bad. I mean, it really is not a good song. It's just the definition of mainstream metal. And metal has to be inverted commas, to be honest. And it's just bloody awful. Ghastly, in fact. Oh god, P.O.D. Now this starts in a very similar way to every other song on the album, because they pretty much all start in the same generic, simplistic metalcore-ish, but not as heavy style. And this song, though, so far on the album, takes the prestigious biscuit of being the worst and most uninspired song so far. It really is the Collins Dictionary definition of generic, and I've read the bloody dictionary. No joke, seriously, when I was younger, I at least read to about N, which is pretty, not bad at all. Anyway, this song's really shit. Okay, Dirty Little Secrets. This has a bloody awful intro, unlike, the opposite to Breaking Point, except Breaking Point isn't exactly that good, it's just for this album it is. And, I mean, the intro for this is fairly cringe-inducing, and after that it decides to go a bit soft, turn into a bit of a softer song, before it tries to dramatically build and build, and you know what, the build is actually tolerable. Does that mean it's good? No. It just means it's tolerable. But then when it peaks, it turns back into the train wreck of a song that it started as, and the rest of the song, it then seems to go astray. It seems to be a bit confused of exactly where it wants to go. But no matter where it goes, it finds failure everywhere, to be honest. Yeah, then we get to Leech, another boring, dull, tedious monstrosity. Again, it just screams generic mainstream lowest common denominator rock and metal. There was just nothing good about it. Then Dead to the World, and this is trying to be the ballad on the album. And you know what, the intro guitar sort of melody, it isn't half bad. The lead guitar on this album, as I've said, it's not bad in general. It's just everything else that's bloody awful. The song, however, it may not be as offensive as a song like P.O.D, which quite frankly makes me want to blow my brains out, but I find this song to be very banal, to be honest. That's the best way to sum it up, really. Oh god, Riot. Now this is a song many people say is actually the worst on the album, but I'd have to disagree. I'm not saying it's good, bloody hell no. No, I mean there's worse, P.O.D for one, and we haven't even got to some of the worst ones, yeah. And, I mean, this song, it's still an atrocity and an abomination, and the chorus is about as catchy as the lyrics of an instrumental, and the lyrics make Taylor Swift look like Bob Dylan or Fish, and then the music, it feels like it was written by a 14-year-old, as it's so bland and repetitive, and it's pretty much just the same chord over and over, and over and over and over, a goddamn again, and yes, I know that vinyl just fell down. Anyway, Saints and Sinners here, you know, it's my good old favourite Whitesnake album. Has the proper version of Here I Go Again. Fantastic album. But unfortunately it's also the name of an abysmal Bullet song. Now, when I said there was songs worse than Riot, and I hadn't even talked about it, I was mainly talking about Tears Don't Fall Part 2. But really, this song, thinking about it, is actually worse. If I ever hear this again, I think I'll be forced to cut for Bieber. It's just atrocious. Now, speaking of Tears Don't Fall Part 2, nice little segue there. Now, before we get into this, let me state, I do like the original. I think the original is a really catchy, really good song, to be honest. Like, you know, it's got a catchy chorus, it's got good riffs in it, it's a good song. I do enjoy it. And this song, I don't know why it needed to be made. I honestly don't. I mean, I mean, you know, oh dear non-existent God, help me get through this song was what I felt like screaming throughout it. I mean, it starts after the intro, and oh my god. It starts with him, so if you know the original song, he says, "Let's go." And he shouts at the beginning, no joke, he shouts, "Let's go again." And it's just like, facepalm, you know. I mean, what a stupid way to open the song. I laughed at its silliness. And then, I mean, the song is the definition of unimaginative. I mean, seriously, do this band have any imagination? It seems not. I mean, it's practically the same song. Yes, it does have some musical differences. I can see the I can hear the musical differences even, but they're not exactly that dramatic, all you Bullet fanboys. If you can tell me there's a dramatic difference between these songs with a straight face, I will be impressed, because there is not. They're pretty much the same song with different lyrics, and the chorus, which is, you know, quite a bit different lyric-wise, seems to, if anything, rip off 18 Visions if they want to rip off another band as well as themselves. They're quite ripping off themselves. It is uninspired bullshit. In fact, there's one lyric that sort of sums up this song in context to the rest of the album, and that is, "You pour salt into my wounds." And that's what it feels like this song is doing. It's like, you know, they've opened the wound, it's pretty crappy, then just shove salt into it, like, hey, you know the song that was actually really good? Let's destroy its legacy. And last, and definitely not least, is living life on the edge of a knife. Now, by not least, I just mean it's better than Saints and Sinners. It's still a waste of your time. I mean, it does, however, end the record perfectly. Now, by perfectly, I mean the fact that it's just as generic, and it really sums everything up. It leaves that almost a bitter almond taste in your mouth that, you know, came about after Tears Don't Fall Part 2 made you take that cyanide pill in the first place. Overall, I can't recommend this album to anyone. please don't listen to it. It's a waste of your valuable time and money if you are crazy enough to buy it. Even to a die-hard fanboy, I could not recommend this. The only reason I could see someone listening to it is because they want to see if it really is as bad as everyone's saying it is. And if so, listen to the songs Tears Don't Fall Part 2, Saints and Sinners, and P.O.D. And if you're still alive after that, then more power to you. I'm going to give this album a 2.5 out of 10, and I'm going to cleanse my ears with some Judas Priest Nostradamus. Been wanting to listen to this album quite a bit, and by what I've heard, it seemed bloody awesome. So yeah, I'm going to go and listen to that, and this has been the Album Man. Thanks for watching, comment, rate, subscribe, and long live rock and roll.